Hi there, Deb from I'll Be Creative here. I'm sorry you can't see the top of my head, but I really want you to be able to see the bits that I'm doing here. I'm going to be showing you today how to make some art out of tea bags. Yes, seriously. Now, the thing with tea bags, it was something I heard a long time ago. I was inspired by an artist called Jill Hayes, and she wanted to help some South African communities craft themselves out of poverty, and she came up with this genius idea. Anyway, so do have a look, Jill Hayes, the original tea bag. Now, what I want to do, I want to show you something with my take on it, which, you know, we're in really difficult times at the moment, and what I do a lot of creative therapy, and this would come under that. And I don't know about you, but I get so excited about working with the little things. So I've got my cup of tea, bit of archy nuts there. So I've got my cup of tea, and I will be saving my tea bag, but I'll pop that there for now, and I'll show you what I'm on about. Okay, so I'm just starting off with ordinary bog standard tea bags. Now the trick is, there's a couple of ways to do it. You can either use tea bags, you know, squeeze them, put them in the fridge till you get a few, but actually I found I prefer to dry them. They're easier to empty when they're dry. So you want to get your tea bags, squeeze them out, dry them, take them out before you put any sugar or milk or anything in your tea, because you just want pure tea. So here is a tea bag that's been drying. Okay, so I'm going to move these out of the way, put those there. So as you can see, I've been drinking a lot of tea. So this is all tea leaves. The thing with tea leaves is that you can stick it in with your compost, put it at the bottom of your flowers, and you know, it's not a waste product, it's a useful product. Now I find the easiest way to do this is just to very gently tear the seam apart. Now some people like to cut, but I'll be honest, I like that torn effect on the edge. So once you've got a bit of a tear there, you can control the tear as much as you like. It's always easy when nobody's watching this. Okay, so tear your bag apart. Now, you would not believe the research that's gone into tea bags. There we go. So we've got two pieces of tea bag there. All right, and you're probably thinking, what is this woman doing with these bits of tea bag paper? But honestly, it does get better. Right, so I'm going to put that to one side. All right, so now my husband got so excited about this the other day when I got the iron out. And so iron tea bag paper, he was sorely disappointed. Sorry, Mike. But once you've got your tea bags empty, iron them. I do find that you do get a better, you know, result if you iron them. And again, these are just pieces I've done, and I just love the colours. I mean, look at the colours in that. They're just, you know, they're beautiful. It's like rust. You know, you can get some gorgeous shades, and the different tea bags that you have. This was some fruit tea, so it's a bit pinky, and then you've got your ordinary black tea. Now sometimes I even paint them, you know, with a bit of gouache or a bit of gesso would be great to do this. So these are my dried tea bags that I'm waiting to do something with. Okay, so if you're stuck at home and you've got no art materials and you actually want to have a go at this, fear not. I promise you can have a go. Now I did a bit of a sample the other day, and this is a mini portrait, and I want to do an exhibition, so if you want to join in, have a look on my website. And what I want to do, I want people to paint or draw or write words about how they're feeling that day. You know, we are in living history at the moment, and I really do think that we need to document it in some way. So this is going to be an art exhibition that you can be part of if you want to. You do not have to be able to create art, you do not have to be able to draw or paint, because it's all part of the process. So this was literally tea bag, and it was just a pencil. I had a couple of felt pens and coloured pencils, and I just had to play about with that. Now another idea that I did, now this was a piece of newspaper, Actually, if you go to the Manx Museum, you'll see that there's an artist that did some great artwork on newspaper. You know, go and have a look. So newspaper, there's president there. So newspaper, a bit of black paint on it, which I had in. Because bear in mind, I'm not in my studio, I am at home. So this is the tea bag, and as you can see, there's a little bit, I actually think it looks a bit like the Isle of Man. You know, this little piece here, that came out, that shape, I thought that looks like the Isle of Man, that's going to go on something. And I just sewed, you know, so we got needle and thread, I sewed some wind, because it's very windy here. I just sewed some wind lines there, so just had to play about with that. So you can paint, you can tear, you can glue, you can do anything. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I am going to show you the easiest way to glue on. Now I've got a glue stick here. You can use PVA glue, you can use anything that you like. So I do find these are a bit easier though. Okay. Now bear in mind you do really want this to be ironed. I also find it easier if you're working on a piece of non-sticky, non-porous, if you've got like a glass cutting board. This is actually board which has been recycled. Well, it's not been recycled, I'm repurposing it. It was from Harmony Homes, and it's their, you know, their signboards for the sales, and I just asked them if they had any. They gave me some, I washed them, and I use them all the time. It's a brilliant resource. Okay, so just smooth as much as you can. Now sometimes I might want to take these bits off because I think if they're a little bit, you know, if they're a bit too dark, but you can leave them on, it's entirely up to you. This part of the process is really quite satisfying. You know, you just smoothing out, you're placing it where you want it to be. Get your favourite music on in the background, you know, just really chill out with this and enjoy yourself. And if it goes wrong, it's a tea bag, it doesn't matter, it's fine. Now I will have a little word about recycling though, because some tea bags you do have to be careful because they're not actually all made out of paper. I found this out when I was researching for doing this project. Make sure that it does say biodegradable, or you can compost it on the box. And if you're not sure, email them and ask them and they will tell you. I think it was Twinings, and it was the envelope packets that I bought, and I did email them and ask them, and they said that there is plastic in their tea bag, so you cannot compost them, which is a real shame. That said, if you've got them, if you like that tea, make art out of them, and then they're not going to do any damage to the environment. So there we go. Right, so I've got a piece of tea bag paper on a piece of card, but you know, you could put it on anything, on a piece of slate, on fabric, on a piece of wood. I got this driftwood yesterday. I'm not quite sure. It looks a bit like like a label, doesn't it? So I've got some layers of tea bag here that I'm going to do something with. But you can stick it on anything. Let your imagination run riot with you. Okay, so there's that. And then, of course, here's the invariable, you know, the one I prepared earlier. This is one that I did last night. And, you know, you can do all sorts of things. You can draw on it. You can write on it. You can... let's have a look. You can write some words. And, you know, write some words, how you're feeling. And this can change daily, you know, write a poem. Now, these words, I will tell you, this was, I used to teach calligraphy years ago. I'm a bit rusty now. Now, this was with Van Dyke crystals, which is walnut, which I found a bit off in the back of the cupboard. But this was done with coffee. So if coffee's your thing, you know, get the coffee out and do yourself a nice strong instant and do some writing with it. But you know, if you are feeling particularly vulnerable, this is a really good way to get those feelings out. And you know, you might not even want to show those words. You've written it down. You can do something on the back and just cover it up, make a piece of artwork out of it. And by the time you finish, it's amazing actually how different you can feel afterwards. So I'm actually going to put a nice word on here. So, there we go. I do like tearing. This takes me back to the my craft making days, which I've not done for a long, long time, but there we go. So a little bit of glue on there. This is, and this, you can, this paper gets everywhere. Oh, okay. And I always use my scraps up. So this is the back of a piece of printed card that I wasn't really keen on. Okay, you see that? So give that a glue down, and then, you know, get another piece of tea and put it over. You're going to have so many more ideas than me. I can't wait to see what you come up with this, honestly. I'm hoping that this very short video just gives you a bit of a taste so that you can just enjoy and have a play about. Because like I say, it's only tea bag. If it all goes wrong, it doesn't really matter. Do you know, I mean, this isn't going to end up in the tape, we know this, but you can see by just using bits of tea bags how you can create interesting textures and colours and just with natural materials. And this is just what you've probably got in the house, you know. I mean, most people have tea, coffee in the house. You can do this. You'll find a paintbrush from somewhere. If you've not got a paintbrush, use a cocktail stick. Get a twig out of the garden, chop it down, you know, all sorts of things. And if you're really interested in this, do you know, drop me an email and, you know, I'll help out best I can. Now, the other thing I wanted to do is to show you how to add a bit of colour. Now, because I've got my silk painting paints here, I'm using the silk paints, but I'm not going to lie, this is a happy accident. I'm absolutely loving using the silk paints with the tea bag because it's quite a fabric, you know, it's very textile in its feel. So this one here, away from the glue, this is one I tore up a minute or two ago. And I'm just going to do this demonstration on here just to show you. The thing about silk paints, you wouldn't believe the mess that is around out of you with the video. It's a skill, you know, someone's got to do it. Right, okay, so I've got some clean water. When you're working with different colours, you always need to have a piece of cloth, clean water, and I've got my silk paints here. Okay, so I've put those in there. Now I'm going to do rainbow simply because the rainbows, you know, everybody wants to do a rainbow. It is difficult at the moment, and you know, if you want to spend some really quality time with yourself creating some rainbow cards, you can send them off to, you know, the hospital. Nobles are doing an incredible job, all hospitals are. Send them to, you know, your friend that's an NHS worker. Send them to somebody who you know's on their own and would just need cheering up, you know. Write to them, forget all the emails for now, get a pen and paper and write a lovely card in something that you've done yourself. So I'm going to start off with a bit of red. Now, can you see there, what I love about the silk paint is that it actually draws across the fabric itself, across the paper. It almost does the job for you. I love it. I'm not saying that I'm a lazy artist or anything, but you know, it's beautiful. And then I'm going to get some orange, and I'm just going to, you really do not need any artistic skill for this at all. So if you're watching this thinking, oh my God, you know, somebody's making me have a go at painting, like I say, what's the worst that can happen? Actually, no, the worst that can happen is yesterday when I was doing some of these. The only time I didn't have a penny on, I managed to spill a whole tub of brown silk paint on me. That's the worst that can happen. But you know, it was an old top. It's not the end of the world. Now I think this yellow one, actually I should have filled up this yellow, but never mind. Can you see that coming along there? It's not. There we go. Right, and so we're going to get the green. Now, what I love about these is that it doesn't really matter if they're not in the actual proper colours or the proper order or the shape or anything like that. So see, I'm just making sure my brush is clean between each one. Now, the reason I do it like this, I have found that you get more of a vibrant finish, and you're less likely to spill on the card when you actually do it. Okay, so there's my rainbow, and here are the ones that I did prepare earlier. There we go. So these are the, see, there was the one with a bit of brown on it, which happened to be the place where I spilt it yesterday. But like I said, still like it, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it. But I'm going to stick, I think, this one. Yeah, I'm going to stick this one on the card. You see, I've still got a bit of glue on my fingers. Okay. Right, let me get one of these that a clean one with no glue on. Now, as you can see, this is one where I've been doing the rainbow before. I think it makes a really nice pattern. There we go. So let's just get a piece of card. And I'm working with card I actually just had in. You know, so these are for another project I've been working on. So ordinarily I might have been doing a different, you know, thing with them. So you can have these whichever way that you like. Where's my glue stick on? So work from the inside out, and like I say, work on something that's not porous, and you always want to work on a fresh surface, because what's going to happen if you put something down there that you're going to glue and it's already got glue on, it's going to get really messy. Okay, and this is where this is all going to get messy, isn't it? There we go. Now, I happen to have this glue in, but you can... Now, I personally don't use the spray ones myself because I think they're expensive, they're bad for the environment. I mean, that said, I'm not too happy with the plastic in this, but I'm working on something to use that up. Now, how cool is that? I actually quite like that. I think that looks quite pretty. And it's just a start. You can do all sorts of things with it. And I'll just show you some of the ones that I've got here that I've done the past few days. And whereas I started off doing this as a bit of a sample for you, it really helped me. Because I benefit from creative therapy too. You know, have a go of sewing some tea bags on some card. You know, a rainbow, who doesn't love a rainbow? You know, it's such an inclusive icon, it's beautiful. So, I really like these. At first, when I looked in the cupboard and started thinking about doing the tea bags, I thought, oh my god, I've only got round tea bags, I don't want the round tea bags. But actually, I really love them. I would love to do like a series on just some little pieces of discs of wood. There's just all sorts of things I'd like to do with them. And these... and I just love the very earth-like, you know, in their feel. You know, the rainbow ones. You see, I was saying I wasn't keen on the round ones. I'm less keen on the square ones now, using the full square ones, well, oblong. But these torn pieces, they're just, I just really enjoy doing them. So these are the colours I've been using. And this is just the start, just having a play about. But you can have a go. This was because I did my crush cairn last night, so I went... There's a rowan tree next door and some branches are coming over to our garden, so I managed to take some branches, some little twigs. We went up, got some fresh wool from the fields up near Sound yesterday, so I did my crush cairns. I'm going to show you. There you go. There's one. And while there were some leaves on, so I thought, okay, do you know, I'm going to print some on the tea bag. So I quite like the printing. I love printing. And this was from printmaking course I did for Christmas. And actually, I find it more interesting. You know, I've got this out. I think that is more interesting than that, with the tea bag on it. And not many people would know it's a tea bag. So, there you go. You're either going to want to have a go at that or you're not. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it filled 5 minutes of your day. And if you did enjoy it, you know, come and join me for on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock, time for tea, where I'm going to be doing a new piece of artwork with tea bags, and hopefully you can join me there. So grab a cup of tea, a cup of coffee and a biscuit and enjoy, and thanks. Bye.